I don't know about you, but on Sundays I tend to take a nap. I'm not much of a napper. I don't take naps any other day of the week, but sometimes on Sunday I do because I'm just tired and I want to rest. And man, whenever I get that nap in, I feel at peace. I get a deep sleep. The only problem is when I take that nap, a lot of times it causes me to stay awake a lot later than I would like to on Sunday night. But after I got up from my nap on Sunday, I was thinking about the event that happened when Jesus goes out on the boat with the disciples, and there's other boats around them and everything, and they're on the Sea of Galilee. And all of a sudden, a strong wind comes down, as it happens there sometimes, and there was a really strong storm that happened. And water was coming into the boat. The disciples were, they couldn't hardly handle it, and they're thinking they're going to die. And so they go and they find Jesus. He's asleep. He's sleeping through all of this. Why? Because he didn't have any concerns about this situation. He's the Son of God. He knew it wasn't his time to die. He knew there was nothing for them to worry about. And basically he said, "Why are you of little faith?" Or "Why do you have such little faith?" And of course he went out, and we know that he calmed the storm, and everybody was amazed. Now I can see both sides of this, because there are things in this life that cause us to worry. The Bible tells us not to worry because it's not going to do us any good. It's like being in a rocking chair going back and forth. You're not going to go anywhere. If you worry about something, you cannot change the outcome of it. You're not going to cause it to happen, and you're not going to make it to where it doesn't happen just because you're worrying about it. But again, we all worry from time to time about different things. Now, I do want to point out that I understand that there are some people that's part of their personality. It's part of their body makeup to kind of worry about things more than other people. Then you have other people that are more kind of like me that don't really worry about much stuff. Don't really concern myself with it. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't worry about anything, but again, you have all these different people that are different, have different personalities, and like I said, we all have our different issues and things that's easy for us and things that's hard for us. And so we need to realize that, and not make a bold statement like, well, if you're worrying all the time, then you don't have a strong enough faith in God. Well, that might be true, but also those who are worrying, they may not worry as much because they do have a faith in God, and they have learned to try to turn things over to Him. But one thing that we can do to conquer worry in our life is we got to remember that we have access to our Father in heaven. We can pray to Him, and we can turn our problems over to Him and let Him take care of everything. We'll know it's in fully capable hands whenever we hand our problem over to Him. And so while it is challenging at times to not worry and to be at peace, we must learn to do that, and we can become better at it. The more we think about God, the more we read His Word and we see that He keeps His promises, and the more we pray to God, again, it will help calm us down and help keep us from worrying. We can be more like Jesus in that instance, to where we can sleep even if there's a storm going on in our life. We don't want to be like the disciples all the time, and where we just losing control every time every little thing happens, because that doesn't do you any good. It will just wear you out and cause you to have all kinds of issues, and cause you to even have illness come about. Your body is amazing, and if it gets stressed out, it can actually cause it to become ill, cause you to develop pains and things like that. Your body will hold stress. And so it will be beneficial to all of us if we, again, learn to try to do our best to put our faith and trust in God, hand it over to Him in prayer, and then just sit back and try to enjoy the moment that you're in. Now, of course, I'm not talking about if you're going through some sort of death or some sort of tragedy, something like that. Obviously not talking about that. But there's a lot of things that we worry about that are just not important for us to worry about. And that's the things I'm talking about. Just hand it over to God, and then just continue living your life, because there's not a thing you can change about what's going to happen or what's not going to happen, unless you're like right there and as they say, boots on the ground, and you're able to put your hands on it and you're able to influence it in some way that way. But that's not the case. That's not the way that it usually is. It's always about us sitting at home or going down the car or driving down the road in the car or whatever, and our mind thinks about that thing, we start worrying about it and it eats us up. So let's try to be more like Jesus and be calm and be at peace and be less like the disciples, at least as they were on that boat at that moment, where they were just, they were just all excited about the issue, thinking they're going to die and everything's going to end. And of course, it wasn't. So again, be like Jesus, not the disciples like that. Anyway, that's the message for today. I have another message that's going to come to you from this truck as well. And so stay tuned for that.